Formula 1 cars, like the best of us, have put on a few pounds over the winter period. But unable to cut out carbs or head to the gym, in 2022 teams are having to work out where they can trim back their designs in order to balance the scales. While sandbagging was once again a buzzword during pre-season testing, unfortunately it's not a simple case of cutting ties and storming ahead. Alas, teams are now faced with reducing weight while also looking to upgrade their cars without introducing any more mass. Ahead of the season opener in Bahrain, the minimum weight limit had been set at 795 kilos, which was up from 752 kilos in 2021 in light of the vast array of changes to the regulations. Most of the field was still struggling to meet the new criteria and asked for some relief. The FIA decided to help a little, increasing the minimum weight by 3 kilos up to 798. Ideal for those looking to only shed the last few pounds to comply, but not enough for those struggling to remove the excess bloat altogether. And in case it wasn't clear, extra weight means a slower lap time, potentially a few tenths per lap, which adds up over the course of a race distance. This isn't a new task for the teams, as weight reduction has always been a part of developing the best F1 car. But why has it become such a difficult feat to achieve with the new 2022 specification? Especially as this year's cars look less complex than their predecessors, having removed a lot of that bargeboard and wing clutter. The biggest difference is the addition of new safety measures, with the nose and rear crash structure responsible for absorbing more energy in the event of a shunt, while there's also been an expansion of the anti-intrusion panels fitted to the chassis. Meanwhile, tethers like the ones we've seen used on suspension elements for a number of years must now connect the rear wing to the crash structure so that it can stand more of a chance of staying attached to the car in the event of an incident. The new 18-inch wheels supplied to all teams along with tyres from Pirelli are also to blame, while the wheel covers that are a spec component and were originally supposed to be manufactured in carbon fibre are now made out of reinforced plastic due to the sheer quantity needed. That's also had a slight effect on their weight. Moving further down the car, the Venturi tunnels and diffuser are now responsible for a much larger chunk of the performance, and so to compensate for the extra pressure the floors now need to withstand, they are considerably stronger, especially when you take into account how much extra load the outer section of the floor is under as the car is pulled closer to the track by ground effect. The FIA also gave teams some tools to help fight the porpoising issue we've seen in 2022. With metal floor stays that we've seen connected to the floor ahead of the rear wheel and the gearbox carrier. These were added to the regulations at the last minute and appear to have helped those who installed the feature by adding additional reinforcement to stop the floors from flexing. But of course, all these extra strengthening tools have added, you guessed it, more weight. The introduction of these stays means that teams can offset the floor's load and therefore look at redesigning their floor for both aerodynamic gains and to save weight. There are rumours of Alpine putting their car on a low carbon fibre diet, enabling them to save around 4 kilos with their latest floor update. Meanwhile, we've already seen teams sacrificing looks in order to reduce weight, as the cars are left with more and more carbon fibre on display. That's right, even a paint job on the car can save crucial grams, and you can see that on the McLaren MCL36's air intake. Originally it was painted orange, but now it's mostly bare carbon fibre underneath those sponsorship decals. Saving even a few grams will add up at this early stage of the season. And what about Mercedes? What could they do, given they raced in black over the course of the last few years? Might it be worth stripping away that famous silver paint once again in favour of a naked black carbon fibre finish? Even the smallest changes can add up, both with adding and removing weight, and we saw that at the Australian Grand Prix. Mercedes, on the one hand, decided to sacrifice weight gains and added extra ride height sensors to their W13 car. These temporary additions may have added a few pounds for the Aussie weekend, but will have provided the team with vital extra data so that they can continue to develop their car. On the other hand, Red Bull appears to be shedding weight earlier on in the season. They have announced their larger weight loss update will arrive for Imola, but have already begun trimming their front wing, both to lose weight and to improve aerodynamic performance. The leading edge has transitioned into a more gradual curve, shortening the upper edge as well, along with new S-shaped diplanes, no doubt tweaking how the airflow behaves around the front tyre. At the end of the day, it's clear that all teams want to be as light as possible without sacrificing structural strength or performance. It's one of the main reasons carbon fibre is so prevalent on today's cars. But with the complexity of the newer 2022 specification machines still being developed, it may be some time until we see today's F1 cars at their fighting weight.